Greetings. I just thought I'd do a quick hobby update and also face reveal, I guess. So, what have I been up to? And also, thanks to that commenter that suggested I get a tripod to hold my phone. There's actually one arrived that very day. So that's what we're using now. The production value here is skyrocketing as we speak. What I've been working on this morning is some 1/35th Tamiya figures. Do these focus? I'm confused as to where the camera is on this phone. I'll put pictures up. 1/35th Tamiya figures for some World War II skirmishing. So I've got a squad of 5 Germans. I'm just doing their bases right now. And I've got a squad up here of Russians as well. Soviet assault infantry. I think these figures are pretty underrated in reality. I suppose a lot of hobbyists might not go to the model shop. If you're a war gamer, you might think Warlord Games, Perry's, these guys have your back. But if you want to do bigger scale skirmishes, Tamiya figures are really good. You're probably quite limited on poses because there's not like every guy in the box is basically one pose. But if you're doing skirmishes in this scale, you're not going to need a lot of figures. Anyway, I really like these guys, especially the ones with the capes. Really fantastic. I just you get that to focus. If I get closer, does it get? No. I just slap dropped them, and that was just perfect. Absolutely perfect for these guys. I've also got a lot of Americans. There's a lot of Americans available from Tamiya. So I've still got those to paint. I used 25mm squares just because that's what I had a lot of. I knew I wasn't going to run out anytime soon, so any figures I buy I'll have bases for. Weirdly, in doing the Germans, I realised that there is no good contrast paint for field growl. That bluey, greeny, grey German uniform colour. So what I did was, it's Militarum green. In terms of the slap chop, everything's just dry brushed white. But then it's Militarum green over that. Then it's Griff Charger grey. And then it was Drakenhof Nightshade over that to shade it. So it was a little bit fiddly, a little bit of a pain. But I got something that I think is pretty close to field growl. It certainly looks different enough that they're not going to be, they're going to stand up from the Americans and the green bits on the Soviets anyway. Now, here are some finished guys. I did just simple work on their bases. There's that guy. There's this running guy. I do really like these figures. I think this guy's the squad leader since he's got a pistol on his belt. But that might have been a mistake because this guy pointing is always going to stand out to me as the squad leader. So I might have to use him. instead. There's our machine gunner. Now on the German front, this is our German squad leader. I didn't realise how creepy the eyes looked on these Tamiya figures. And I say with that recipe I came up with, the uniforms actually look, I think, at least pretty close to the colour they should be historically. Rifleman. This is, it's clear from the sprues and sort of how the figures go together. This is a significantly older Tamiya kit than the Soviets are. They all have this sort of hunched over pose. They look a little bit skinny, but still, for the price, these figures are pretty much unmatched, I think, in terms of quality. I was going to say I'd go with the MG42, but I think that's an MG34. So, MG34. In terms of rules, I was going to go with my my own simple toy soldier game, which if you look for that on the blog, you'll find it. But I have also got many other options. Dawn of Featherstone's War Games has some World War II rules, and they're not particularly skirmishy, but at the end we do have Close Wars, which I've seen a Man of Tin on his blog use for yeah, Close Wars, use for pretty much everything. So that's an option. I've got Skirmish War Games, which I've never actually used, but I hear those are pretty cool. So I've got those potentially to try out, and actually in reality I might just try out all of them. In this Donald Featherstone book, there's quite a few different World War II rule sets. Some of them more skirmishy, so better for what I'm up to. As you can imagine, command operations is going to be skirmishy. A bit out of left field potentially is using bolt action. A mate and I have done this where you play bolt action but use one figure squads. I think War Games did do an official skirmish sort of like supplement. It was just like a 2-page PDF, but it covered how to play bolt action as more like a skirmish. I say skirmish, bolt action kind of is a skirmish already, but as a one figure in a squad, you know, up to like 10, 20 figures aside, rather than the 30, 40 in tanks that you get normally. I've also got Use Me Sci-Fi. The basic Use Me system is generic enough that I could use it for World War II. There is a Use Me World War II, I just don't have it. But that's also an option. And I also have, oh, knock the camera. I also have Laser Burn Imperial Commander and Laser Burn, which I believe Brian Ansell originally was writing a World War II rule set that then he turned into these two. So they're definitely an option. I mean, if you look at, that's probably difficult to see, but where you have automatics, you've got SMGs, assault rifles, and MGs. So the rules are kind of there already to play Second World War level stuff. So I've got those as well. Of course, because it's me, I'm always imagining my own rules to play with. So yeah, I'll keep you updated and certainly do a battle report at some point if I get stuff together.